Why, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we serve up a full dish of this week's episodes of NBC's number one award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I'm joined by my gaggle gal. We have the long-haired, beautiful.
Aw. Thank you so much, Tony. Hi, everybody. I'm Araceli. Happy Sunday.
And, of course, drenched in blue with a fake bookshelf behind him.
Hey guys, Justin Hareld.
Michael Mattis is out here living his life like it's golden,
Yes.
so he will not be with us today, but we wish him well and hope that the devil doesn't get in him. If you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and _ Dishin Days on the Twitter. The @ is still kept in the church, away, safe from Mardevil. Also, while you're here, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Dishin Days on the YouTubes, and you're here already watching us. So click that notification button, click that subscribe button, and tell a friend to do the same. Also, make sure you buy merch. That's right. We have merchandise at dishindays.threadless.com. Get yourself a t-shirt, a towel, a mug, anything that lets you know that you are a true and loyal Dishin Days fan. Also, we are on your favorite podcast stations. We are on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else where podcasts are sold. So make sure you take us along with us while you're on the treadmill, a long car ride, or walking around your neighborhood. You can listen to us wherever you like. Also, for your full soap opera fix, head on over to JLJ Media on YouTube to get your Young and the Restless, General Hospital, and Bold and the Beautiful recaps for this week as well. Brought to you by our former co-host and my chocolate twin, named Rodrigo. And those are the church announcements. Goodness gracious. They seem to get longer and longer. All right. Oh my gosh. I did not get my cup of water.
Oh no.
That means
we want to run?
That means no, we're going to have to do this show quick because I get a little thirsty.
Yeah.
I get a little thirsty. What did you guys think of this week's episodes of Days?
Happy. I was happy with it.
You're happy with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I feel like there was a lot of good movement. Like we got some movement with our storylines, and we had a couple of like laugh out loud, interesting moments.
Man.
Yeah.
And later, there was one particular moment where I was like, and then I checked Twitter. I was like, and we'll get to that later, and I'll explain. If you didn't see the backstory on Twitter, I'll explain that, because when I saw the backstory to that moment, I was equally like, I had to wait 10 freaking years for this. You'll know when you know it.
Okay.
You'll know when you know. I thought this week was fine. I still find myself being very captivated by the Mardevil stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But let's break it on down. It is now time to start
Dishin
Days.
Sorry, that was my fault. Wait, sorry.
One day we will get it together. I don't know what this is.
I was driving for like 24 hours straight, guys. I'm tired.
You always get on here like you're saying you're tired. Take a nap.
Yeah, like I'm allowed to.
Right.
Ba-bam! All right, set it and forget it. All right. So let's kick things off with the very first storyline. We have Mardevil, John, Doug, Julie, Johnny, Trip, and Eli. All right.
I'm loving the little take on this of Marlena like fighting the devil. I'm liking that. So, and actually Ron sort of tipped us off to this in our interview last week. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But yeah, I'm liking the sort of conflict here, because I'm trying to remember the original story. I don't know if we had really any of that in the original. I think once he took over, the devil took her over. It was sort of him the whole time. So yeah, I'm liking this kind of change in it. It's interesting.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, Justin, about how it initially, the devil initially creeped in, because we weren't watching. Tony and I weren't watching back then, and so we can only just discern from what's going on right now.
Yeah, I actually like that we saw for a second the internal struggle. Like we still heard
Mhm.
Marlena still kind of pushing for power as well. Instead of, us thinking that, the devil has gone in and completely taken over her. I'm glad we kind of have this push-pull
Mhm.
that's happening. And okay for the devil leaving Marlena a voice memo.
I know, right?
That is freaking creepy. I don't like it speaks to the lost. Those of us in media will know that voice recordings sound is very important. Voice recorders, a lot of people record stuff on their phones and high-tech stuff, but there's a certain element about a voice recorder that's just it's naturally creepy. Like if you record certain things, you can get certain static. It's very just the different elements of the way sound is recorded on just a little voice recorder like that can be easily made very creepy. So to have just a random voice come out at you, no.
Like all of a sudden, Araceli, I start talking like this. I realized, so I started watching some of the episodes last night, and the Devil stuff came on, and my first thought was, do I really want to be watching this?
At night? No.
But I was actually okay. I was just like, you know what? I know that it's Deidre Hall. I know that it's fake. I know that that things are altered. I'm gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine.
I think you can say that now because as of right now, it's just a lot of glowing eyes and voices and playing around with the sound. When she starts levitating off the bed, I think you're going to want to watch that during the day.
Oh, Dylan Matthews says that I sound like Barney.
I said that too, Dylan.
Well, then that just means that everyone else sounds like Barney too.
Creepy about it, Barney.
I already got my my stamp of approval from Ron last week when I did the voice, and he was like, "It's spot on." So thank you. Were you gonna say something, Justin?
Oh no. Yeah.
What I do like though is that oh man, I just forgot what it was that I liked.
I'm trying to think the other elements. We had Doug trying to
that last episode on Friday. When you're doing something horror related, thriller related, you really do have to play around with the basic elements, sound, sight, things like that. So that I loved that look of Marlena just in the shadows, Devil in the shadows on Friday. The way they panned to that look was so I spot on to the director because that was and the lighting department because that's really hard to capture where it's the light coming down from her and then you're still getting the light from her eyes. That's really spot on, and that I could tell that wasn't computer generated. That was just them doing that in the moment. But then Julia's blind as a bat.
Yeah, that was creepy because it was like they panned over and I was like, wait, does she? Because I think it was a scene they came back from commercial break and I was like, wait, does she know she's sitting there? Like it threw me off for a minute. It was definitely creepy.
Julia must have terrible peripheral vision.
And also, did you guys notice? Not only did we get, of course, we talked about the eyes and the color context, but you notice on the edges of her eyes, it's like really bloodshot. I was like, it was like really creepy.
Yeah,
that was like, oh wow, they're really going for it.
Yeah. Oh man, there was something that I was thoroughly enjoying about this specific storyline, and I can't remember what it is.
Is it how they're just incorporating? To me, it's that they're incorporating the history so well, and then they're taking and then they're again because there's not all the players that were on the canvas back then are on now. That they're really utilizing all the people that weren't there.
Yeah.
Damien Oliver wants to know, so no one on the panel watched the original storyline? No.
Guys, I did too.
Yeah, Justin? I did, but I mean, this was so long ago. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember everything.
I was a toddler. I was obsessed with Barney and Big Bird.
I didn't start watching Days until Stefano kidnapped Marlena and held her in a cage.
Oh, the Bear's Cage.
That was I remember distinctly. That was like the
Yeah.
first scene well, that was the first scene of Marlena. The very first episode that I saw, I don't remember the whole episode. I just remember the end. And Hope and Franco got into the elevator, and the elevator's doors closed, and then it went off, and I was like, "Wait, what's going to happen?"
Forgot about Franco. That was
that was a while ago. But I do like that that everyone's kind of talking about it and talking about the history of it. Like when Johnny went to someone said, "Wow, Tony, that was a year after the possession." Yeah, that's when I started watching. So I had just missed it. But when Johnny was talking about it with Tony, and then we got that history of like, well, it wasn't me; it was actually my cousin Andre. Him asking Abigail, and Abigail was like, I mean, I was a child, so like, I kind of heard tidbits, but no one really talked about it. I find it very interesting that they are including the history of the possession. Did anyone else find it interesting that like Trip is coming from more of a scientific standpoint on things?
I actually love that they did that. That was such a good conversation, because that's a very realistic conversation that a lot of us have with physicians if you're a person of faith. And if you're a new doctor, that is typically a conversation you would have with the new doctor. Doctors with like 10-15 years under their belt understand that there are just some things that you can't explain.
Also, too, like his position in the show is that he's not a new character, but he's also not as engrossed in some of the more like fantastical parts of the storylines over the last, X amount of years. So I think the sort of people coming back from the dead is still kind of weird to him and stuff like that. But he's also someone who didn't grow up in Salem and doesn't have like the history with these people or sort of the abnormal that Salem brings. So and
it's not and the way they did that was smart, because it's not pushing a character who has nothing to do, and it's probably not going to have very little to do with the storyline itself. It's not pushing him into it. It's just having his take on it, which I think is really smart.
I did have this thought though. If they did a Beyond Salem season 2, I would love to see this film being made.
That would be cool as an idea.
Ooh.
Wow.
Like,
that would be really cool.
Would you want to see like the film itself, or would you want like a behind the scenes kind of a thing of the day to day?
I honestly think seeing a behind the scenes of the day to day, and then the last episode is the short film that comes out of. Because can you imagine like seeing Abigail play Marlena?
I know.
I think we're gonna get to see a little bit of that though.
And then Allie playing Sammy. You know what I mean? Like it would be interesting to kind of see that.
Yeah.
This is what I liked about Mardevil. Is that there has been a mention of like not playing with the devil, and all the things that I think this was something that was brought up by Chanel.
Like Chanel,
after watching The Exorcist with Johnny, she was like, the devil is something that you don't play with. It could open the devil to come in. And what I liked about that is that there are so many fans who are like, nope, I'm a Christian. I have my faith. You don't play with the devil. I'm not watching. But I like that they're having that discussion on the show as well, because it's kind of like they're echoing what fans are saying. So it's not like they're just allowing the possession to happen without covering that base. And I like that there was that discussion and that was brought up. And I hope that if you're not watching, then you missed it. So maybe this is why you don't fast forward through storylines and things, because they are addressing it, and they addressed it with The Exorcist. And I thought that was a great thing. because of all the things that happened on that
Behind
movie.
the scenes,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah. Like
So-
I flat out, I have a policy now where I actually will not sign up for films that are based on location. So
Okay.
like if it's going to be set in a location where somebody died or that's like considered hollow ground or something, I stay right now. I don't care if it makes me sound snooty. I'm out.
Yeah.
Because that is not something I was taught not to mess with that for that reason. And you know what, I think it's important also because it does show the generation gap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How people like Julie and John, who are older, who grew up more in the church, who we had the Bradys who were deeply Irish Catholic family, and so like Sammy would hold those beliefs because she grew up with her grandparents and believing all of that, even though she was a holy terror herself. She may not have followed all the doctrines, but she knew enough to know that there are certain things you don't mess with. Sammy Brady at least has that line. But this younger generation who, they probably didn't grow up in the church at, maybe like their Christmas and Easter people.
Yeah.
It's not ingrained in them, and you can see that with the different characters. So like Allie is Roman's granddaughter, and this is where that's that little distinction. Allie is Roman's granddaughter. She probably had more conversations with that side of the family about faith, so she has a different reaction than Johnny would. Even though Justin, actually, you can answer this question. Because Stefano was heavily involved in the possession storyline. What was his role in it, though?
Oh God, I'm trying.
Because I remembered Stefano being religious.
I think she at one point, because this is when he started drugging her, and that's what sort of led her her weakened state for the devil to come in. I think there was one point where the devil like turned on and like. Oh God, did he throw like Steph? I'm picturing like him Marlena throwing him off the roof. I think is maybe someone can confirm this. That's what I'm getting. I don't remember Stefano much in it. I think because we were just coming off of this idea of him sort of trying to control her previously, and so I'm trying to remember if he took more of a backseat to that.
Okay, all right.
I think Stefano had a hand in opening.
He threw her out the window.
Oh, is that what it is? He drugged her and left her vulnerable. To have the devil take over. Yes.
And then while she was the devil, she threw. She out the window.
And I think they addressed that. I think John mentioned that as he was.
That he left her vulnerable. I was just curious if he had like when she was officially taken over, what that relationship was like. Was he a believer, kind of a thing? Because I remember Stefano being a man of faith in certain elements.
Yeah, like he was against her, definitely her being possessed as sort of like, not just for her well-being, and also just like, she was his possession, so to speak, or at least he thought so. So there was that element to it.
Yeah. All this to say that, you see it with, with Allie, with now it's like the four characters that Foursome, Allie, Trip, Chanel, Johnny, who are the youngsters who are just learning about this, and they all have very different reactions, which is great. It really shows great variety in that generation gap.
Yeah. I think everyone is worried that something may happen to Doug, but I don't think so. I think Doug will be protected, and I think it's interesting to have someone that obviously, because I was like, when the devil jumped out, he didn't like Men in Black him and go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
So then was that the
purpose?
So then was that the purpose of Mardevil whacking Julie? Was that like the attempt or the compromise to save Doug? I didn't understand that.
I don't know.
I think she's still trying to kill Doug. She just wanted Julie out of the way or something. Or
Okay. Okay.
The devil knows not what he does.
That is such a false line. The devil knows exactly what he's doing.
I gotta say, I've been loving. I know we talked a lot about Bill Hayes this past couple week, but I've been really loving what Susan, Julie's been doing this past. And like sometimes we sort of get bogged down by like the personality and the bigness of Julie, and this is I think where they're like channeling her energy really well. I think she's been just outstanding this week. Especially, I love the pairing with John too. Like, of course, they've been around each other in each other's peripheral, but we haven't seen those two characters really come together a lot. And so to have sort of John be the person who's sort of by her side through this is really interesting.
Yeah. I believe that's it with Daredevil. So we'll see. I think the whole we mentioned the devil leaving a voice memo to Marlena and just kind of talking to her and just being like, "Oh, Marlena, I can't believe in this short amount of time you've already forgotten our reunion."
That whack at the end with Julie, I lost it. I laughed so hard. I got so I'm loving Julie.
Now you laughing at Julie getting whacked in the head.
When she whacked her, I lost it. I needed that laugh all week. I lost it. It was so hilarious to me.
I get it. I think a lot of our commentators are feeling the same way.
Like the way like her hair went when he just whacked her. I was like, kudos to the stunt double in that wig because I lost it.
A mess. Well, let's move on to Johnny, Chanel, Tony, Abigail, and Chad. So we mentioned this already. First off, we'll start with Johnny and Chanel. We already talked about them just a little bit about them, having the date night with the exorcist and her having that conversation about opening everything to the devil. Johnny I feel like he's becoming obsessed with this particular storyline. But also, I have to say, they are making him very filmmaker-y now because he now mentions a lot of films and all this kind of stuff. So, I mean, I would like to take credit for that. However, I know they filmed this months ago. So.
Yeah, I will forgive that. I'll forgive, based on this week, I will forgive whoever put in that ridiculous line about him not knowing what an elevator pitch is. Because that was... I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen because that was stupid. But yeah, this week you definitely saw that in him. But what Johnny... Okay, know your audience, gentlemen, when you're taking a woman on a date. If she seems like a particular type of person who loves thrills and stuff like that, okay, go ahead with The Exorcist. Yeah. If she is petite and she likes to bake and she loves fun things, horror is not her idea of a good time.
Well, maybe she just tried it just because that's his interest. And so she's like, okay, like I'll sit through. Like, if a cute guy was like, oh, Tony, like watch this horror film with me. I'll be like, listen, just know I'm going to watch it like this the entire time. But to spend some time with you.
Curled up. Opportunity to get scared. Close. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you can say that all you want, scared, but then you'll start hearing sounds, and there's no amount of affection that I can have that is going to make me sit down and watch The Exorcist. Not happening.
No.
I would say this week I really felt like I got I would say that. Well, I use like the cute side of them. I think we've sort of gotten the hot and heavy, and we sort of got the cute side of them now. Him with Carson playing Chanel, or Johnny playing Chanel's song, and then I love the reservedness he had at the end there, where he wasn't again trying to get her into bed. It was like, I know you have to be up early in the morning tomorrow. We'll say goodnight now, and kind of exited. I like what we're seeing with them a little more.
How did, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the serenade in Horton Town Square to Chanel from Johnny?
Oh, Are you talking about like his voice or just like the gesture?
His voice and the gesture.
I like it. I think he's great. Yeah, I didn't think that they were gonna showcase like the whole song, which they ended up doing. So that was really nice of them, and that's a sweet gesture. That is another thing, is that no matter how many times a girl tells you she doesn't like a cheesy gesture, she likes a cheesy gesture.
I mean, I thought it was really cute. Like, listen, if someone can sing, and if someone can sing, because it's different. And there's yes, you're a great singer, or ooh, bitch, you sang. There's a difference. If you don't know the difference, then it'll hit you. But if someone did that for me, I'd be like,
and can play an instrument while they're doing it. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But let me tell you how shady soap fans are. They went in on Carson Boatman's voice.
They did.
They did. They were like,
a good voice.
They were like, oh my gosh, his voice is awful. Oh my gosh, I could live another day without ever hearing him sing. His voice is squeaky. And so and I saw this before I saw the episode. Wow. So going into it, I was like, Carson can't be a bad singer. He got singles out. And then I was listening to it and I was like, he sounds great. Like, what is everyone talking about?
Yeah, John Doe, right. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he has a very high register and it's twangy, but yeah, it's good. I feel like sometimes people can't decipher between like talent and what they like, and to understand the difference. Like, just because you don't like a genre of something, or if you don't like someone's voice, it doesn't mean that they don't have talent or they can't sing. Like,
you're not a professional unless you are in the business and are a professional with years of experience behind you to actually judge someone's voice. Shut up.
Right, like this ain't American Idol or The Voice.
Yeah, and even on those shows, there are some choices that they make that I'm like,
Yeah, I'm surprised about that.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I was like, just let him live, honey. Like, I'm surprised though that they wrote him in. Because I feel like they've done that before. They did that with Casey Moss, because Casey Moss was a singer as well and a guitarist, and so they wrote that in. I don't know if people remember, but they actually tried to do that with Ben, with the original Ben.
What?
Oh yes, the original. Yeah, it was Justin Gaston.
Justin Gaston.
Yeah.
Yep. Justin Gaston was Ben for a hot second.
Yeah.
And then I blinked, and Rob Wilson was there.
Yeah.
So I actually remember the day that I was like, who's this boy that they keep like zeroing in on? They called him Ben. I was like, that ain't Ben. I'm confused.
Now, if you are a fan like me who enjoys more like artists and songs being incorporated into the show, like I like that. Like I like when somebody does it for an anniversary party or something like that, or like a nice slow dance or something. Then I can understand, like maybe you didn't like the placement or something like that. But unless you're a professional, leave the boy alone, really.
I agree. I'm just he sounded great. Let him live. So,
I was gonna say, I love the Abby stuff. That actually caught me by surprise. I found myself really enjoying it. That came out of nowhere. When he mentioned Sammy to Allie, I was kind of like, oh, are we gonna get one of those things where some of the cast is gonna play or at least gonna offer?
Yeah.
I would have never in a million years guessed that he would have asked Abby to play Marlena.
And
so
yet,
it was sort of a surprise, and like I was kind of on board with it as like the storyline went on. I was like, oh, this could be interesting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, why do I keep forgetting what I was gonna say?
No, the one thing I was like, okay, so we have Abby 5 years older than Allie is gonna play. I was like, okay, well, I have to hand wave that away. But yeah.
I like that Abby did ask about her affair.
Yes. Yeah.
And I love that Johnny was like, well, there's this really hot, steamy shower scene. And the way that Will describes his stepfather,
wow,
kind of and I was just like, Number one, again, I love the fact that that all this history is involved because that shower scene was. If you don't remember anything about Abigail and EJ, you remember that shower scene at Demera Enterprises.
Yep, at the gym, the in-house gym or
got
something. Yeah.
everybody hot and bothered.
Then also the one that shocked me was when he was like when they sort of referenced the Will EJ storyline. I was like, oh, are they going there? Because they usually don't sort of pick up on that stuff. They usually don't reference stuff like that isn't specifically like spelled out. And I was like, oh, they're going there with the little chemistry that they had that one storyline, which is a little strange but weird. Yeah.
But she's flattered by the fact that she's being asked to play, Marlena, and she's like, "I'm no actress, but I think I'm hanging in a whirl." And that was cute to see them just kind of interact and have fun with.
Yeah. I love those moments. Because we always ask like for more drama, but I love those moments where a character just really takes hold of their joy, and it's like, oh, why not?
And we don't get a lot of that, not from those two characters. Like, like we said, we got Chad when we had Beyond Salem. We got sort of fun.
Yeah.
Sort of Chad and Billy Flynn. But we don't get that from those two a lot at all.
I kind of love this idea of like just giving those two more joy. And I'm not talking about like being happy, being in love, getting back together. I'm just talking about them just being joyful again. Mm-hmm. Rediscovering that like we're still young. We're just because we're married, just because we were parents, just because we've been through hell doesn't mean we're not allowed to rejoin the world and have fun and try new things.
Yeah. All right, and that seems to cover that storyline, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we're going to move on to Phillip, Chloe, Brady, Ava, Gabi, Jake, Rafe. Let's start with Phillip and Chloe. If Phillip can just be this Phillip, then I love it for Chloe. The problem is that like his jealousy just gets the best of him, and I'm like, honey, calm down.
That part is so unattractive.
It's very unattractive.
Constant jealousy, and the way that it just flips so fast. It's it's a turn off. Sometimes it can be scary, and it's ridiculous the way. But this week he did great.
Yeah.
He focused on what he needed to focus on. Even the parts where he was plotting, and he was honest with Chloe about how he knew it wasn't Brady, and she was like right there with him.
Yeah.
Like she was all in on helping him oust this person. And that I like to see. It's just like Phil doesn't have to change completely. It's just that one little element of jealousy in him that's got to go.
Exactly. And she knows she's not like Phillip has never been like some Boy Scout goody. Like she knows who she's with and who she wants. Yeah. And so like this is the part of the sort of deviance and the little sort of darkness of Phillip that she likes and she can handle. It's sort of the jealousy where ironically he makes Brady part of their relationship more than she does, really.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad we got him calming down and like sort of getting back on track, so to speak.
And again, just their history with each other, like the what was it called, the Fiery Ice Rose?
Oh yeah,
and just like remembering that, and then seeing the flashback of that. I like that, but I mean, to be honest, I'm still not team Chloe and Bella. I don't know what it is, but I'm just not fully like committed to them.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I know what it is. It's all the stuff Phillip has done. I'm like, nope, we're good. Like, ain't got no time for nobody jealous.
Yeah, but at the same time, we don't want Phillip. We don't want Chloe with Brady.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I think that ship has sailed. Yeah.
The ship had already had her sis. For sure. All right. So then, Ava.
Loving Ava.
I love it.
I'm here for I'm kind of here for Ava Chic, but I'm more here for sort of Ava plotting with Phillip. I'm liking this partnership here.
Yeah. And here's why. Bad Ava in the old days was obsessive.
Yeah.
This feels justified.
Yeah. Yep.
This feels justified because she didn't do anything to Gabi. She didn't even, she was barely speaking to her.
Yep.
And Gabi just wouldn't, Gabi did what Gabi does. She just wouldn't stop, on and on and on and on. And it's like I don't know how Gabi expects to keep going on with her life, like treating people like crap and just expecting them to take it. It was cute and felt justified back when everybody would step on her.
Yeah.
You know, when Nick was abusing her and Julie was standing up for it and all that stuff kept, and even when Stefan died, I felt like I was not 100% on her side with her actions, but I felt that she was justified in her anger. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I am all for Ava going full steam ahead with this plan.
Well, again, I haven't been on board with the whole Jake Gabi like taking over Titan thing.
Yeah.
That just seems weird. I'm kind of here for Ava digging up Jake's past, though.
Yeah, that was interesting to bring that up.
Because for the most part, we don't know exactly what Jake has done and where. So this was the moment where I was like, oh, this makes sense now, because they needed a way to tie all that together so that we can maybe get a better view of Jake.
Yeah. And also,
I'm here for it.
Yeah. It also now threatens possibly Gabi and his relationship, because the idea was Phillip was saying, will Gabi give up Gabi Chic in order to sort of keep Jake's name or keep him out of prison? So now it's going to cause not only just to oust them two, but also create conflict in a relationship. Because I mean, we probably like to think she would maybe give up Gabi Chic, but maybe not if everything's on the line for her.
I don't want that to happen. Like, this is the thing. Like, yes, do all the other stuff, but like, let Gabi have something. Like, she went through that whole period of like, you know, having to go to jail and being separated from her daughter and being accused unjustly during the DID, you know, not being able to have kids. I think she's proven to be the next in line to be another Kate or Sammy. But, well, she's got to be a little bit better. But just this very strong, independent, like, businesswoman.
Yeah.
So I don't want her to have to give up Gabi Chic. And besides, Ava ain't that stylish, y'all.
No, she's not.
She's not about fashion.
No,
so I don't need an Ava Chic.
She's business savvy. She is.
But I mean, I'm okay with the Ava guns. I'm okay with an Ava spyware.
Guns.
I'm okay with Ava Black Patch. TM disagrees with me and says Gabi needs to grow up first. She does. She does need to grow up.
Yeah, first. but TM, to Tony's point, and he actually just made a really good point. Gabi is acting very much like Sammy in the 90s. Very, very much, where she just won't let it go.
Yeah.
So something, and you know, eventually Sammy let some stuff go. Yeah. It's just, I hope it doesn't take like 15 years like it did with Sammy.
Yeah. Well, it's an ongoing thing, even for Sammy now. Someone just mentioned Ava doing Countess Wilhelmina.
Oh.
Who's in charge of Countess Wilhelmina?
Yeah, I know. And who owns it?
Is it Titan?
Is it Demira? I think Demira's own it.
Are we sure it didn't disband?
I mean,
no, doesn't Lucas run Countess? Isn't that like his? Even though we don't see him do it, I thought that was his job. He either runs Countess or Mad World. I can't remember which one.
Oh my God, Mad World!
Oh my God! No, I don't think Mad World, because I think Mad World got swallowed up with.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Because wasn't Madison over Mad World?
Yeah,
she was, but then Kate revived. Brady asked Kate to revive. Yes, I forget which, because at one point Kate was running one and Lucas was running the other, kind of a thing.
No one knows. No one can remember.
Okay.
But I mean, but anyway,
Billy's
like
in the no, Billy doesn't run anything because we saw me on
she's now ISA.
Yeah, she's back in the ISA.
So listen, this storyline has gained some interest because I now have a direction on where they're going. So I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It's just going to be very interesting to. And the other question is, because you know it always does, when shiz hits the fan, is Chloe going to be okay with what Phillip has done, what Phillip and Ava has done? Because there was already a hint to that.
Yeah, I think so. I think if it had to do with Phillip, he's not going after Basic Black. He's not going after Brady. He already. This is within his own company. This is a spy within his own company. He's well within his rights to do whatever he has to do to get Gabi out. And this is not like even like soap ethics as we have come to know them. This is actual like real world. No, if there's an employee in your company who is plotting against you, who's trying to like oust you and do all this stuff, that's absolutely grounds for dismissal. There's nothing shady about it.
Yeah, I think Chloe would be okay with this. I think this is sort of the Phillip she can get down with. I think maybe if like he went after Nicole or Basic Black, or if he was still jealous of Brady, it was like, I'm gonna take down Basic Black to get Brady, like that she wouldn't be, but I think she's okay with this.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how that unfolds. The last thing we saw was Gabi and Jake coming in and smelling aftershave, which that must be some strong aftershave.
I was like,
have been strong.
I was like,
oh
I don't want them. Yeah.
That's a lot. All right. Before we head into tidbits, just a quick reminder to you all watching us live. First of all, thank you so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with us as we dish about all your favorite parts of Dishin Days. But make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and _Dishin Days on the Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also catch us on your favorite I almost said iPod. Your favorite podcast station, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts. We're on all of those. And also make sure you buy our merch. I'm actually wearing one now. This is the serving a full dish.
Yes. The situation.
Let's get some models. Work it, Tony. Work it.
Brought to you by Gabi Chic. So make sure you visit there. All right. So moving on, we have Ciara, Ben, Trip, and Allie. Thoughts on Sin?
They were on the honeymoon way too damn long. I know that Ron explained why, but yeah, that was just too long. Because it felt, you know what it did? It dragged out that conversation to the point where this week we're actually getting substantial material and that kind of validating Ben's concerns. But because it dragged on for so long, now I'm just kind of like, I'm just kind of over it.
Yeah, I'm only interested if this is going to be, a Rosemary's Baby situation. If they bring in Daredevil into this story, otherwise, I really don't care about these.
Well, they Ben, was it Ben that had the dream about their little kid and was like, I got bored and played with Daddy's tie, and then moved out of the way, and the poor nanny just.
That was creepy too. I was like, oh, okay, that was
Oh my God.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm just ready for their conversation to kind of move on.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. Yeah. I really do understand Ben's concern, especially seeing the family lineage. But his dad wasn't a killer. I mean, he wasn't. He was crooked.
I think he
Well, he killed EJ, but then
Yeah.
Killed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He did shoot EJ. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
It's just. It's
Yeah.
just.
Look,
a long
regardless of how
conversation.
anybody feels about this, Trip was the wrong person to ask. Trip is
Yeah,
a
I
med
know.
student.
It's like,
He is
yeah,
a student. He
Well, you
doesn't
can't tell
have
because he in the hospital giving diagnoses and things.
No. You don't ask the baby because all he knows is what he's read in books. He has zero experience in psychiatry, which will all roads lead to this one psychiatrist we shouldn't be talking to right now, so we know where this is going. But yeah, Trip didn't help.
I would also like to point out that while they, I like this. Countess Tony Alma, Helena Miller. I like that.
You're terrible.
So the whole time they were having the discussion on the floor in front of the fireplace with the pillows and everything. All of a sudden, I was watching it because there was a flicker of light, and all I heard was in my head was, "Doom." There were nights when the wind was so cold that my body froze in bed if I just listened to it right outside the window. Bing boom, bing boom, boom. Like it felt like that moment.
It seemed like a very 80s like soap opera scene. Like I feel like we don't get scenes like that. Like the couple in front of the fireplace like sprawled out. Like we don't get scenes like that anymore, at least recently.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And again, I like scenes like that. I thought the conversations that were had this week were valid. And the way that they were done with so much emotion from that couple was so well done. And even Allie, that conversation later, made some very good points about how, you can do private adoptions. I still don't know how that would work out for them. But it's shot in the dark, I guess maybe that would work. But there was so much substantial material with this storyline this week, but because it was like so dragged on for so long, I couldn't enjoy it.
I think because they were on Monday and they kept switching back, and again I felt like Jason, I love you guys, but okay, have the baby or don't have the baby. Let me know. Get back to Marlena.
Right. They're not even pregnant yet. So.
Yeah.
But again, like we talked last week. I mean, I see the general concern that Ben has. But geez, Louise, can we just make a decision about it? Lord.
I'm going to be a mean Sin fan right now, and I'm going to say that Grandpa Victor should cut off her trust fund and make the decision for them.
Never happened. And I did like the interaction with Trip and Allie, and that they had had a couples date, and had this conversation and all this kind of stuff. So I did enjoy that. That was a cute moment.
It's nice for Ben to have friends.
Yes. I think so, but it's also good just to see everyone interacting with each other, especially if they're in their that age range.
Yeah.
All right, so EJ and Nicole.
That's a no for me.
Really? I'm intrigued.
I feel like Nicole is such a different person now. And ironically, I feel like EJ is reverting back to the person he used to be. And so I don't even see them as a match. To me, I'm baffled as to even why Nicole said yes. I didn't think he was particularly charming. I didn't think ever since he's been back in town, they haven't had any sort of, I can understand if maybe they flirted a bit or they had a positive interaction, but it just seems so weird for her to say yes to, and we know probably this is a rebound to Rafe and Eric, but it was, with EJ, I don't see it. I think if this were old Nicole, I would be maybe in favor of them revisiting them as a couple, but I don't see it now.
Yeah, but you're basing it on their history. I'm seeing it through fresh eyes because it's brand new EJ and they have chemistry. I gotta say, I'm very happy. I'm more and more happy with the choice of Dan Fiergo's casting because he seems to have chemistry with almost everybody.
Yeah.
And that's hard. So that couldn't have happened, that necessarily happened, but because I think he has chemistry with Nicole, that there's something about it that works. And there's also something about the fact that, yes, this is a rebound, but they know the best in each other. They know the worst in each other. I don't think either one of them cares for anything serious right now. Again, it's discovering any joy you can get.
I mean, I think they have the couples wrong. I think Rafe and Nicole could be more interesting than Rafe and Ava and EJ.
That would be interesting. Maybe.
But listen, I'm like Nicole. I'm like, you know what? I need the company of a man.
Yeah.
He invited me. Sure, why not? I know he wants to get back at Sammy. I can't stand the bitch either. So why not?
Yeah. See?
We'll see what happens.
Nice meal's worth it.
And I love that Brady's just like, no.
Oh,
and Chloe is like,
my God.
You got enough issues, Brady.
Would he just stop butting into other people's relationships? Like, being a friend is not an excuse. Ever.
This is the controlling Brady that we always talk about, where he very much,
I can't. It's just, it's getting. It was one thing when he was interfering in a relationship that he was in, or a triangle that he could be in, but now he's just putting his nose where it doesn't belong.
Yeah. EJ, Roman, Lucas. EJ and Lucas will always have a battle between each other. I mean, I'm glad Roman stepped in to try to stop it, but like they're always going to have some sort of beef. And Kate is concerned about Lucas too. Kate went over to Phillip to ask about Lucas and her just being concerned that, you know, he's feeling some type of way.
I actually really love Lucas gloating. I don't know.
Yeah, that part I like.
I'm gonna fund Johnny's film, and guess what? You're gonna be surprised at who the real love interest is.
I mean, they have no idea the script is completely changed.
I love Brian getting to be goofy and silly and fun, have fun. He excels at that.
I am so sorry. My days, people, y'all know I love you. Please stop showing Johnny's script, because we can see that there's not a stitch of writing on
there.
There's no lines. It's literally a book of blank paper. And we can see, like, the first time I tried to ignore it, I really did. I tried to ignore it. I'm like, you know what? This is my show. I love y'all. I'm just not even gonna pay attention. Now every time they open the script, I'm like,
I think I noticed it when Abby was flipping through, and I was like, wait, are there? And I was like, let me, I can't get involved.
I was like, y'all know we can see that, like, y'all couldn't put in that day's script in there, and like, I mean, we couldn't read like what, but at least we could see that it's like a script form. Y'all couldn't find like an old. Like, what sucks? I could have let them borrow an old script of mine. I got one.
I have the pilot episode of The Sopranos sitting on my bookcase.
I mean, just put anything in there.
Like you could print it off of, like, all those episodes. You could print them off the internet. It's not that hard anymore.
Something. I'm like, now who did that? Who was not noticing that we? Anyway, Gwen, Xander, Abigail, Justin, Jack.
I'm liking Gwen and Xander a lot more.
They really did change the character of Gwen.
The interaction this week, and then sort of roping Justin in. I was like, okay, Gwen's like a ride or die now. She's like really like pulling things together.
You know, I don't think they needed to change much about Gwen, because you could still see her scheming, her just bending over backwards trying to convince Justin to take on Xander's case. You know, she's very good at that, of just like being in the moment and very convincing in the moment, trying to convince people of things. It just happens to be for good purposes now.
Mm-hmm.
And the only difference is just that she's got someone who really cares about her now. That was just what was missing.
Do you guys think it's cute that Gwen was like, for my boyfriend?
Oh, yeah.
Am I your boyfriend?
I kind of love that.
It was
You know
cute.
why? Because unless it's in the context of some of the younger characters, sometimes when you're older, it feels weird to use that term
Yeah.
boyfriend, girlfriend. You get kind of like caught up in the minutia, but I always think it's
Not the
adorable.
minutia.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really cute, and and I actually do hope that, because again, it like EJ, you're a lawyer, so you know that that $1 million was confiscated by the police.
Yeah.
You know that Xander couldn't get it. Like, what is with this $1 million, and why did you revert back to having the judge not,
Yes.
and then put the charges back? I was
Tony,
like,
you're acting out
Lord.
all the viewers being like, wait, what's the storyline? Why are
He's
you
just being
Yeah,
petty.
I'm like, I mean, but listen, I'm Petty LaBelle too, but geez,
Yeah.
like
This
what's
is
done
really
is
all about
done.
Sammy, I guess. I guess it really is all about Sammy.
I
And
guess so. Speaking of,
wow. Hmm.
who done kidnapped Sammy? I realize I haven't had to pull this out because they haven't really talked about it,
Yeah.
but now they're starting to get suspicious that Sammy literally has like fallen off the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Who done kidnapped Sammy? Where's Sammy?
I
Sammy.
feel like I can't tell if they're
Sammy.
sort of like dropping hints. I can't tell if they're trying to
Sammy.
they're trying to make us think it was EJ this week, or if they're trying to subtly lay the groundwork that it was EJ. I'm not sure.
Oh
But
yeah, because EJ don't give two snitting caboodles about wherever Sammy is.
yeah, but there was one line this week when he was in the pub where he said something that made it seem like it was like a hint or something. I forget the word or phrase he said or something about Sammy. But yeah, I'm still sticking with Kristen. I'm
Ditto.
I'm still
Ditto.
sticking with Kristen.
Just because we haven't seen her in a bit. Unless you watch Beyond Salem. But no, we haven't seen her like day to day in a bit. So it was
I love that. Can you imagine if she's like in Julie's closet or something? She's like she's keeping her an underground tunnel or a secret. Oh my god, to keep her out of the way. Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
Hilarious.
But we don't know who kidnapped Sammy, but we now have we seem to get vague confirmation. I don't know if it was this week or last week. I think it was last week that Sammy is trying to escape.
Yeah, I thought that was like when she called Johnny back. I assumed that was her getting her phone back and someone taking it from her. Yeah, that's what it sort of seemed like it played out as.
I thought it was a burner phone that the kidnapper is using and was just like, I'm gonna call back, hang up, and then send a text.
I don't think so. I think because it was the call was too long for that. Because it was a good while that Johnny was like screaming on the phone trying to get a hold of her.
Yeah, but this is an interesting pairing and storyline. I still wish that Gwen would have just said, I had the miscarriage before. I don't know why she thinks she should seduce the judge, though, to get Xander on.
Yeah.
I think she's onto something because there's only so many ways you could blackmail someone.
I think Justin should just take the case and be like, listen, I know what you did with EJ. Just go ahead, revert back.
We'll keep it quiet. Yeah. Listen, I
We're
will
going about our
I will
business.
snitch on you. You let Bonnie and Xander go or something. Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, that was our week of days, right?
Mhm.
All right. We kind of flew through that, which is great. We are now going to start with our segments. And we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's Aviles 3 Snaps Award. All right. So my 3 Snaps Award goes to what everyone has been wanting us to talk about.
Oh my gosh.
And
I
I
forget.
literally watch this over and over again because when it pertains to Salem, it's true. So my 3 Snaps Award goes to Chanel, who said white people are crazy. And the way that she delivered it
I had to
and the
rewind.
way that she said it, it was literally like she's listening to all the stunts and shows that have been happening in Salem. And she is saying what any of us would say.
And
It's
have
like
said.
white people are crazy. So Chanel,
Hmm.
Raven Bowens, you get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award because why? White people are crazy.
And then Tony's response to was hilarious. What did he say? Did he say yes or did
Yes, he
said,
agreed.
Yeah. He said, yeah.
Yes, he
said,
agreed
yeah.
with her.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, he agreed.
Oh
He
my
agreed.
god, it was amazing. If you saw the backstory on Twitter of Ron saying how this line was originally intended for a different character on One Life to Live 11 years ago,
Oh.
and the network rejected it.
Oh,
I was so angry because I remember that character. I remember the wedding that it was supposed to be used in. The guy came in with like a shotgun in the middle of a ceremony.
wow.
It was hilarious, and it would have been perfect for that character to say in that moment. And it was just like man, missed opportunity, but I'm so glad I finally made it in.
Hilarious. All right. We have no caption that this week because Michael Madis is not here. But we shall move on to actually let me
Without water too.
Those were the days.
Use that new microphone.
You darn tootin'.
Hey, Rhoda, I'm taking you back. This week's segment, I'm taking you back to October 1st, 1976, where we finally got the wedding of Mr. Doug and Julie Williams. This was after years of back and forth, even Doug having a child with Julie's mother. And ironically enough, this is actually 2 years. Their on-screen wedding is 2 years after their real-life wedding for Bill and Susan, which they actually kept secret from everyone because they didn't want their real-life marriage to influence their characters, either good or bad. And so they actually kept it a secret for a couple years before revealing it. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting tidbit. So yeah, taking you back to October 1st, 1976, where Doug and Julie got married.
Wow.
Those were the days. And now it's time for It's a Gift.
Hello, everyone. This week's It's a Gift goes to...
Go ahead. Keep going.
No, I kind of forgot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
How you forgot It's a Gift? It's your gift.
Because I sent it in 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired.
But it's your gift, though. You know what? I'm not going to put it up till you remember.
I believe it's Maredevil, but I think I wanted to... Yes, it was Maredevil.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
With the whack of the century. And I think I got a lot of comments saying that people were kind of giddy about this moment.
That wig, I can't. I send this to me, Araceli. I need a good laugh.
Oh my gosh.
I can't.
And just the look of just satisfaction on her face.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
It's what you want to do to that, that bully who just wouldn't shut up about you.
Yeah.
You're just like, man, I just want to take this train.
And that was It's a Gift. That she finally remembered. All right, so now it's time for some news and gossip.
Yes, we are starting off first with Mr. Kyle Brandt. You may remember he played Philip Kyriakis during the sort of tail end of the Last Blast crew back in the day, early 2000s. He is the new host of Frogger, also with Damon Wayans Jr. It is a sort of competition obstacle course show that sort of kind of an old play on the old arcade game Frogger. Him and Damon Wayans host it. And contestants, kind of go through an obstacle course, one of those shows, and win money. And so now Kyle Brandt, our ex Philip Kyriakis, is now a host, and you catch him on. It actually streams on Peacock, so you can catch it on Peacock at the moment.
I still couldn't believe when I tuned into Days that Kyle Brandt,
I
from
was
Real World
surprised.
Chicago, was playing
Mm-hmm.
Philip, and I actually met him at a fan event in Greenville, South Carolina. I think that might have been also the year that I met Allison Sweeney. And John Aniston. And Kevin Spiritus.
You're just dropping names.
Of course.
At this point.
I have a long history. I remember Kevin Spiritus saying, like, because that was during the time where I used to get my eyebrows cleaned up, but my sister's beautician was like arching my eyebrows. And he was basically like, your eyebrows are snatched. And I was like,
he would know.
It's so hard to find a good beautician.
No. All right, moving on.
Congrats to Kyle Brandt. Moving on, Miss Ari Zucker. She has a new episode of her podcast, Everything from A to Z, this time with one of our favorites, Miss Stacey Hydu, Kristen and this one is sort of titled, they talk about, what, sorry? Oh, okay, sorry.
You know your Wi-Fi went out for a second. Start again.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. This episode, the ladies talk about motherhood, raising daughters, and women they look up to. So check it out. I'm sure it is a hilarious episode. Check it out on all streaming platforms. You can also check it out on arianezucker.com. Next up, we have Miss Dan. Dan.
We got Miss Dan Fiorago.
I have Allie next, so I was going to say Miss. Mr. Dan Fiorago. He recently completed a Kickstarter for his new graphic novel called Fractured Shards. The Kickstarter sort of set off a couple of records in Australia. They raised about almost close to $20,000 in US dollars. And it was the third most backed project on Kickstarter Australia. So big congrats to Dan and his team. They are going to use the money that they made for completion and distribution of the graphic novel. I believe they're already working on a follow-up, a volume 2 for it. But all information, release date, and completion, you can follow Dan on his Instagram at Dan Fiorago on Instagram. Yeah. Next up, we have Miss Allie Sweeney. She is
Miss Dan Fiorago.
I know. Sorry, Dan. We have Miss Allie Sweeney, who's guesting on...
And Miss Dan Fiorago.
She is guesting on tomorrow, Monday's episode of Let's Make a Deal with Brady Brady. She is representing her charity, Stand Up to Cancer, which she does amazing work at. Go check it out if you haven't heard of the charity. I'm not sure exactly the information I didn't say. I don't think she's a contestant, but I think they may have an element where she's either raising awareness or the or the show may actually match some of the money that the contestants make to give to or to donate to the organization. So check her out. Your local listings tomorrow, Monday, October 4th. And last but not least, we have Miss Emily O'Brien. Gwen Reschek. She is starring a horror comedy that she did last year called Vampire Dad. She plays the wife. And this is sort of a send-up of those like B movies, sort of 60s, 70s sort of horror comedies. So she plays the wife, mugging it all the way through, as she likes to say. Again, horror comedy. Title is Vampire Dad. You can check it out on a few streaming platforms, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and Google Play. So yeah, go check that out if you want a good laugh. Emily O'Brien and Vampire Dad.
Yes. Or play this back to hear Justin call Dan Fiorago Miss Dan. All right, you guys. So now it is time to show you what's coming up next week on Days of Our Lives.
We could grab a bottle of champagne and then go upstairs. What do you say? What if our child really does end up evil?
Oh,
Oh.
I'm
Did I
not down
call
for
it?
Rosemary's Baby.
Did I call it? Are we getting? Just so
Lord.
people know, I did not look at the promo, so I did not know that was coming up.
Oh my! Oh Lord.
Hmm.
Well, you know what? At least we're getting a whole lot of loving this week. That's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
I still never forget that one time where like Nicole was pregnant, but her and Daniel were like doing it all week. I was like, y'all, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down.
And it wasn't Daniel's baby.
Yeah.
Well, there's that. Well, all right, everybody. That has been our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. But before we head out, Araceli, please tell the kind folks your favorite social media platform that they can find you on.
My favorite social media platform is Twitter. You can find me there at Tia323 Araceli.
What was that?
At Tia323 Araceli.
Oh, where?
On Twitter. My
Only
favorite social media
exclusively on Twitter. Justin,
Yes.
please tell the kind folks your favorite social media platform.
You could find me exclusively on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
Well, you can find me everywhere on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. And of course, you can find all of us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and _Dishin Days on Twitter, and also on YouTube and your favorite podcast stations. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another full dish of this week's episodes of NBC's #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. We will see you guys next week for another full recap. Until then, stay safe, have a wonderful Sunday, and enjoy your week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.